Thanks for being here. Looking good. We've got, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Reverend Craig Wexler, on behalf of the Pier Fort Pier Ministerial Association, to lead us in prayer. He'll be followed by Andrew Myrose from Kimball and Addison Stubbe from Worthing that will lead us in the pledge. Please stand.
Almighty God, we come before you this day from different corners of this good and peaceful state, a state that has seen peace from violence and turmoil in many ways. But on this day, we lift up the families and community of Parkland, Florida. We also lift up the families of the 2 fallen police officers in Ohio who were killed this past week as well. As our world seems to be filled with violent chaos, I pray that these called and elected legislators in front of me can come together this afternoon in unity in order that we may continue to discern how we can best serve the people in our communities at home. Give us wisdom that surpasses ignorance. Give us hearts and minds of humility that surpasses arrogance and pride. Give us compassion instead of anger. And give us your peace that surpasses all understanding. In your name we pray. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, if you don't mind to remain standing, we've got a Paige here who is, she's going to go on to Northern State University. She's a native of Fort Pierre. She's going to be a music education major. So I said she's at Stanley County, and we'd like her to sing to us today. So I'd like to introduce you to Abby Ahart.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Abby. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Allers, Anderson, Bartles, Barthel, Bartling, Beal, Bordeaux, Bruner, Campbell, Carson, Chase, Clark, Conzett, Denner, Diedrich, DeSanto, Duvall, Freimuller, Glanzer, Goodwin, Gosh, Greenfield, Haugard, Hawley, Heinemann, Holmes, Howard, Hunhoff, Jameson, Jensen, Johns, Johnson, Kaiser, Carr, Ketwig, Lake, Latterell, Lesmeister, Livermont, Lust, Marty, May, McClary, McPherson, Mills, Otten, Peterson, Kent, Peterson, Sioux, Pischke, Qualm, Rasmussen, Reed, Roden, Ring, Rounds, Rosem, Schaefer, Shanefish, Smith, Soley, Steinhauer, Stevens, Tolson, Turbeville, Wheezy, Willardson, Wismer, York, Zickman, Speaker Mickelson.
Here.
Mr. Speaker, we have a quorum present.
Thank you. Approval of the journal.
Committee on Legislative Procedure, Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Legislative Procedure respectfully reports that the Chief Clerk of the House has had under consideration the House Journal of the 23rd day. All errors, typographical or otherwise, are duly marked in the temporary journal for correction, and we hereby move the adoption of the report. Respectfully submitted, G. Mark Mickelson, Chair.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Messages, no communications.
February 14th, 2018. Mr. Speaker and members of the House of Representatives, I have the honor to inform you that on February 14th, 2018, I approved House Bills 1114, 1126, 1038, 1039, 1063, 1066, 1080, 1102, 1105, and 1117, and the same have been deposited in the office of the Secretary of State. Respectfully submitted, Dennis Dugard, Governor.
Reports of standing committees.
The Committee on State Affairs respectfully reports that House Bill 1311 do pass, House Bill 1275 do pass as amended, and House Bill 1246 and 1259 were tabled. Respectfully submitted, Larry Roden, Chair. Also, the Committee on Taxation respectfully reports that House Bill 1240 do pass and House Bill 1309 do pass as amended. Respectfully submitted, Stephen G. Haugard, Chair. Also, the Committee on Commerce and Energy respectfully reports that House Bill 1022 was deferred to the 41st Legislative Day. Respectfully submitted, Tim Rounds, Chair. Also, the Committee on Local Government respectfully reports that House Bill 1273 do pass, Senate Bill 90 do pass and be placed on the consent calendar, House Bill 1235 and 1247 deferred to the 41st Legislative Day. Respectfully submitted, Kristen Consett, Chair. Also, the House Committee on Appropriations respectfully reports that House Bill 1318 do pass, House Bill 1233 was tabled, and House Bill 1279 was deferred to the 41st Legislative Day. Respectfully submitted, David L. Anderson, Chair. Also, the Committee on Transportation respectfully reports that House Bill 1150 do pass, Senate Bills 15 and 16 do pass and be placed on the consent calendar, and House Bill 1258 do pass as amended. Respectfully submitted, Mary Duvall, Chair. Also, Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Legislative Procedure respectfully reports that the Office of Engrossing and Enrolling has carefully compared House Bills 1099, 1119, 1127, 1148, and 1214 and finds the same correctly enrolled. Respectfully submitted, G. Mark Mickelson, Chair.
Messages.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to return herewith House Bills 1079 and 1205, which have been amended by the Senate, and your concurrence in the amendments is respectfully requested. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that House Bills number 1008 and 1217 were lost on second reading and final passage. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has failed to concur in House Concurrent Resolution number 1008. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that House Bill 1190 was definitely postponed by the Senate. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to return herewith House Bills number 1099, 1119, 1127, 1148, and 1214, which have passed the Senate without change. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary. Also, Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to transmit herewith Senate Bill 204, which has passed the Senate, and your favorable consideration is respectfully requested. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary.
Motions and resolutions. Representative Heineman is going to speak to a resolution, page resolution. Go ahead.
Resolution expressing the appreciation and gratitude of the House of Representatives of the 93rd Legislature of the State of South Dakota to the pages for this term. Whereas these pages have served loyally for the House and representatives of the 93rd Legislative Session, And whereas the members of the 93rd House of Representatives express their most sincere appreciation to these young people for their service to the state, and whereas the members extend to these young people their wishes for every success in life, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 93rd Legislature of the State of South Dakota that a personal copy of this resolution be duly certified and furnished to each page on this last day of service. Adopted by the House of Representatives February 15th, 2018, G. Mark Mickelson, Speaker of the House, and Sandra J. Zinter, Chief Clerk of the House.
Representative Heineman moved that the House Page Resolution 3 be adopted.
All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you. These individuals will come across the stage here. Abigail Earhart. Joanna Bowl. Cameron Bruner. Rowdy Fishbach. Emily Foyles. Lorne Height. Miriam Noble. Andrew Myrose. Audrey Quinn. Tori Rasmussen. Carly Reagan. Haley Ringcobb. Addison Stubbe. And Cassandra Tronbold. Let's give all these pages a great round of applause. Thank you.
First reading of House Concurrent Resolution Number 1011, making formal application to the United States Congress to lawfully enable the Department of Veterans Affairs to provide for per diem reimbursement to eligible veterans in need of assisted living services. Also, Representative Johns moves that the House do not concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1016, and that a committee of 3 on the part of the House be appointed to meet with a like committee on the part of the Senate to adjust the differences between the two houses.
Discussion on that motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. There's just a minor correction that we need to make to that bill. Part of the bill was to strike a number of universities and colleges that are on a list with the Secretary of State, and it's come to our attention there's 4 more that are no longer in existence, and so we'd like to really put them into perpetuity as no longer being in existence.
Any further remarks on that motion? Seeing none, question before the body is Representative John's motion that we not concur with the Senate amendments to House Bill 1016 and appoint a committee of 3 on the part of the House to be appointed to meet with the Light Committee on the part of the Senate to adjust the differences between the two houses. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. The Speaker appoints Representatives Johns, Stevens, and Ring to the Conference Committee on House Bill 1016.
Representative Rounds moved that the House do concur in Senate amendments to House Bill 1033.
We have a second? Discussion on that motion. Representative Willitson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the Senate decided to take all the fees out of this bill from the general fund, and so we'll be paying for it out of the general fund. So I'd ask you to concur.
Further remarks, discussion? Seeing none, the question for the body is Representative Rounds' motion that we do concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1033. All those members in favor will vote aye. All those opposed, no. The clerk will unlock the voting machine. The member shall proceed to vote. Representative Qualm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members of the body. Today is Agtegra Day at the Capitol. Agtegra Cooperative is a locally owned agriculture cooperative for over 6,770 member owners, 900 employees, and 50 locations throughout South Dakota. Headquartered in Aberdeen, Agtegra serves the needs of its member owners by providing aerial, agronomy, grain, fuel, feed, and precision agriculture goods and services. It's also a very big day because they have announced a $500,000 donation for the new building at SDSU to house the Precision Ag. Joining us in the gallery today are current directors, member owners, and employees. Please give them a hand. Please stand up, guys.
Representatives Otten and Tulson. Mr. Speaker, all members present have voted.
Madam Clerk, please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were yeas 48, nays 7, excused 15.
Representative Rounds' motion, having received the majority vote of the members elect, is hereby declared passed. Representative Chase.
Mr. Speaker, personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the body, we have with us today the 4th grade class from Laura Ingalls Wilder from DeSmit, South Dakota, braved the snow and came to watch us in action. So if you would, please help me welcome, on behalf of Representative Glanzer and myself, welcome to Pierre, 4th graders from Laura Ingalls Wilder, with their teacher, Tammy Albrecht.
Consideration of reports of committees.
Representative Quam moved that the reports of the standing committees on government operations and audit on House Bill 1178, as found on page 447 of the House Journal, also government operations and audit on House Bill 1188, as found on page 447 of the House Journal, also state affairs on House Joint Resolution 1004, as found on page 449 of the House Journal. Also state affairs on House Bill 1174, as found on page 452 of the House Journal. Also judiciary on House Bill 1293, as found on page 453 of the House Journal. Also judiciary on House Bill 1204, as found on page 454 of the House Journal. Also education on Senate Bill 46, as found on page 448 of the House Journal. And also commerce and energy on House Bill 1287, as found on page 463 of the House Journal, be adopted.
All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Representative DeSanto moved that House Bill 1287 be placed on the calendar of Tuesday, February 20th, 2018, the 25th legislative day.
Discussion on Representative DeSanto's motion that House Bill 1287 be placed on the calendar for Tuesday, February 20th, 2018, the 25th legislative day. See no discussion. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, the question before the body is to calendar House Bill 1287 for Tuesday, February 20th, 2018, the 25th legislative day. All those members in favor shall vote aye. All those opposed, no. Clerk will unlock the voting machine. The members shall proceed to vote.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Representative Johnson.
Personal privilege.
Granted.
Well, I get to point out that it's the very, very first time in my long legislative career that I've ever sponsored a page. And I want to especially introduce Audrey Quinn. She's the daughter of Rapid City's Paul and Deborah Quinn. She's a writer, she's an artist, she's a senior at Stevens High School. She's 18 years old. She's on her way to University of Oregon for biochemistry, but before she goes, I'm going to have to release her, and I'm not sure I want to do that. So,
yes, and she's the first page sponsored by Representative Dave Johnson.
Yes.
All right, let's give her a round of
Audrey,
applause.
stand up, would you, if you would.
Mr. Speaker, all members present have voted.
Madam Clerk, please display the vote.
Mr. Speaker, there were yeas 40, nays 15, excused 15.
Representative DeSanto's motion to calendar House Bill 1287 for next Tuesday, having received the majority vote of the members-elect, is hereby declared passed. First reading of Senate bills.
Senate Bill 204, an act to create and designate Peter Norbeck Day as a working holiday.
The Speaker has signed Senate Bill 204 to State Affairs, and House Concurrent Resolution 1001. Committee assignment is waived. Representative Wismer has requested that House Bill 1292 be removed from the consent calendar. Consent calendar.
House Bill 1209, an act to require a national instant criminal background check for applicants of certain concealed carry weapons permits. House Bill 1292, an act to revise the process by which courts consider appeals of decisions regarding conditional use requests. And Senate Bill 55, an act to revise certain provisions regarding the tax on endoparasiticides and ectoparasiticides.
Any questions on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the question before the body is adoption of the consent calendar. All those members in favor shall vote aye. Those opposed, no. Clerk will unlock the voting machine. The member shall proceed to vote. Representative Holmes, we're ready for you if you want.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my privilege and honor to commemorate our two colleagues who weren't able to join us, Karen and Sean. We miss you. We miss not seeing you. We miss the sound of your voices. We miss laughing with you. Your absence reminds us of the fragility of this life. Sometimes those of us here in Pierre get wrapped up in our own affairs, our own concerns, and we forget about what's really important in this life. You too serve as a testimony to what's really important and where our true values should be. I would ask members of the House to rise and acknowledge our two colleagues.
So, for purposes of clarity of the consent calendar, Representative Wismer did pull House Bill 1292 from the consent calendar, so that is not on the vote that you're in the process of making. Okay, we'll leave the vote open a little longer in case that affects your vote.
Representative DeSanto. Mr. Speaker, all members present have voted.
Madam Clerk, please display the vote.
There were yeas 55, excused 15.
The consent calendar, having received the majority vote of the members-elect, is hereby declared passed. Representative Qualm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move we defer the remainder of the calendar till Tuesday, February 20th, the 25th legislative day.
All in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. Motion does carry. There being no objection, we're going to revert to order of business number 7, messages. And we have received a message from the Senate. I think that's for you to read.
Mr. Speaker, I have the honor to inform your honorable body that the Senate has appointed Senators Boland, Netherton, and Nesva as Committee on 3 on the part of the Senate to meet with the like committee on the part of the House to adjust the differences between the two houses on House Bill 1016. Respectfully, Kay Johnson, Secretary.
Very good. Announcements. Representative Holmes.
Health and Human Services. I know you're all on the edges of your seats. It's not what you think. No meeting Tuesday morning. Jeez, I can't win for losing with this group.
Representative Otten?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No House Ag and Natural Resources Tuesday morning.
Representative Haugard?
No tax committee on Tuesday. We'll take the three bills that we have on Thursday.
Representative Chase?
House Transportation, 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
Slave driver. Representative Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No House local government on Tuesday. I repeat, no House local government.
Representative Anderson, or Allers?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appropriations does meet on Tuesday at 8 a.m., so all of you that are slacking off can come hang out with us and help us make good budgetary decisions.
Representative Rounds?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, next Friday, a week from tomorrow, is crossover day, and most of you realize what that means. It's a day that in tradition we wear black for those bills that don't make it through the day. A lot of you are leaving, so hopefully some of you stick around here this weekend, but for those of you who are going home, don't forget to pack something to wear next Friday for crossover day. Put that on your list. Let's keep the tradition going. Thank you.
Wardrobe advice from Representative Tim Rounds. Speaker signs House Bill 1074, an act to revise certain provisions regarding the creation of business improvement districts. Speaker signs House Bill 1099, an act to revise certain provisions regarding dual education credit. Speaker signs House Bill 1119, an act to revise certain provisions regarding riparian buffer strip. Speaker signs House Bill 1177, an act to revise certain provisions relating to fees charged for security freezes. The Speaker signs House Bill 1148, an act to revise certain provisions regarding the eligibility to serve on the Game Fish and Parks Commission. Speaker signs House Bill 1214, an act to revise certain provisions regarding the State Conservation Commission and conservation districts. All right, any other announcements? Representative Beal. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries.